Hey guys, it's Mikey here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what's happening really with the Gatwick airport drones. It's something which has been widely reported in the UK media here and further afield in America and other things, and I just want to get a couple of things straight really about what is actually going on, because I think there's a lot of misinformation at the moment and people are being accused of things, and it's very, very confusing. So first of all, if you didn't know, Gatwick Airport got shut down for a couple of days because people were flying drones, quadcopters within the perimeter of the airport. Now, I live about 25 miles from Gatwick, or 25 minutes, sorry, from Gatwick and from Heathrow, so it's fairly close to me. Now, apparently this publication, The Independent, published this morning, and it is Sunday the 23rd of December, and the author of this was Eleanor Busby, who works for The Independent, and I take issue with what she's written here because I think it's shoddy reporting, and you know, people are allowed to have their privacy. So the crux of what's been going on is that two people were arrested, and basically it's a man and a woman arrested over the drone activity that prompted the days of chaos at Gatwick Airport. They've been released without charge, said the Sussex police. Now, as this is going on, basically I'm just going to read you a little bit of the article, and it goes on to say that it comes after scores of sightings of a drone around the airport, caused 1,000 flights to be cancelled, affecting 140,000 passengers ahead of the year's busiest weekend of travel. So the police have actually come out, the Sussex police, and the Detective Chief Superintendent Jason Tingley, who's in charge here, said both the people arrested over an illegal use of drones cooperated with detectives' inquiries. Okay, so either they've been arrested or they've been detained, and I think this is a little bit of artistic license here when it comes to reporting on this by this reporter, Eleanor Busby. Now, the police chief has said he's satisfied that there are no longer suspects in the drone incident at Gatwick. Okay, so these people have been released, they've been questioned, they, you know, aren't responsible for this. Now, what I take issue with is, and I'm sorry if this just popped up at the bottom here, I didn't mean to do that, but what happened to people's privacy? These people aren't suspects, they haven't been charged with anything, surely they have a right to privacy. Now, I take issue with Eleanor Busby from The Independent because she goes on to then name and shame these two individuals. This man and his wife were both detained by Sussex police. They're from Crawley in West Sussex, which is just 5 miles from the runway. Now, if these people haven't been charged and they're no longer suspects, why is their name being released into the wider press? I think this is shoddy reporting. You know, I understand that there's a freedom of the press to you know, report on these things, but when somebody's innocent, you don't put their name out in the press. Now that's going to leave, if it was me, I personally would make a complaint against The Independent and sue them for defamation of character, because they're now linking these people with, you know, the chaos, possible a terror alert, those sorts of things, and this guy's life is going to be made hell, and so is his wife's. It's shoddy reporting, it's irresponsible, and from a publication like The Independent, which is, you know, a well-respected publication around the world, not just in the UK, to report this information is disgusting. And also, I have to say, is that they are reporting this on the ground here in the UK, and then other news outlets around the world are going to be picking this up. Now, for example, PBS in America picked up on this and have used parts of this article, you know, and it's now being spread around the world that these two individuals are the ones responsible, but they actually aren't responsible at all. Now, since this is actually is happening, is going on. Just scroll back to the thing, you know, and I say again, this was published by Eleanor Busby on the 23rd of December, this Sunday, and the editor of The Independent really needs to check his sources a lot better than allowing this information to go out when it's actually factually not correct. These two people haven't been charged with anything, and I think it's disgusting. But anyway, as we're talking about this, there's more news coming in, which is actually being reported by the Sun newspaper now, which is about this. And there are actually pictures not only of these two individuals having been released. It's from the Sun newspaper, and this has just been released, and it's now almost 1:20 in the afternoon. They've actually got pictures of him, and they're also naming him within this, about his background and all these details. Again, this man, you know, is innocent of anything. Why are you putting his name out in the wider press? Anyway, it actually turns out that this individual isn't responsible for this, because he was actually at work at the time these drones were being flown over Gatwick. And you know, there's further information coming out that actually he was actually he had a child with another lady, and he was actually having a cup of tea in the morning with this particular individual while visiting his child, and was then at work. So how can this man be guilty of it? Surely, you know, the police should have done their due diligence before detaining a man and questioning him. You know, it beggars belief that people on social media these days are so quick to point a finger, and you know, your neighbours, friends, and your social media. And if you're a drone enthusiast like this guy happens to be, or model aircraft as it turns out, pictures on his Facebook of a little model radio controlled helicopter, and people are saying, oh yeah, the man down the road, yeah, he's into all of that. So of course the police jump all over that, you know, in fear that it might be something to do with a terror attack, etc., etc. And I get that. Security services have to be careful and vigilant, but you know, people are so quick to point a finger and say, oh well, it must be him, he lives close to the area, it must be him. It's like, hang on a minute, the guy was having a cup of tea with his ex-partner while visiting his child, and then he was at work for the rest of the time. So how can you say that this man was a suspect just because somebody said so? It's like the Salem witch hunt, you know, because somebody said you were a witch, you were burnt at the stake. And we have to get away from this culture, which is basically saying to people, well, he's into that sort of thing, so it must be him. No. All I'm asking for is a little bit of common sense really here, and I would hope that the Independent, the author of this article, Eleanor Busby, and the editor of the Independent actually come out and apologise to this individual. And I would think that with all of this chaos that's going on, that he may sue them for defamation of character and for breaching his privacy, because we all have the right to have a private life that, you know, isn't bandied about. And again, I think also he would take issue with the Sun newspaper, again, printing pictures of him, his full details, where he lives, his background, having been in the services. You know, I just think that when it comes down to it, you've got these publications, the Independent, the Sun, and I also believe that there is another one which is out there at the moment. The Telegraph are also on board with this, reporting this. Now I feel that these publications should make a public apology to the man. His pictures should not be out in the wider press. His name, his address, his background should not be out in the rest. This is a Joe Bloggs who, you know, doesn't want fame, fortune, or any of this. He's just a quiet man going about his business, and you know, I just think that this is wrong. So anyway, I think that's the end of this video, and we'll get through to another one. There you go. So just going to add a little bit more to that video. As you can see here, this is one of the channels that I watch, which is Secure Team 10, and shout out to Tyler. He's a great guy who reports on all sorts of UFO anomalies and things. Now, he made a video here about what happened above Gatwick Airport, and they were kind of saying, you know, was it aliens, was it drones, those sorts of things. So really, what I'm just going with here is, and I did put a comment on his video that it was to do with drones, and these sorts of things, you know, unlike the United States, we do have laws here that you're not supposed to fly drones in public spaces and things like that, and they have to be flown in designated areas for things like model aircraft, model planes, model helicopters, those sorts of things. And you can't just fly a drone anywhere, unlike the United States. So there are rules and regulations here in the UK. And so just really giving sort of a nod to his video. It's really insightful about what they might think is going on. Now, I at first dismissed the fact that it could be some kind of UFO details going on here, because it was reported as drones. But when you start to think about it, why would they be so concerned over drones or quadcopters for 2 days straight, and these things buzzing the airport again? Now, I'm not saying that it is UFOs, and I'm not saying that it was quadcopters. What I am saying is that whoever's responsible for this, be it a UK citizen or somebody from outside, we need to know what's going on. And at the moment, the British press and the British authorities are, I would say, trying to make this guy a scapegoat and deflect from what is going on over Gatwick at the moment. So all I say is keep an open mind. I do believe that it is just some idiots messing around with drones. I don't believe it's a terror attack. I don't actually believe it's aliens. But in this day and age, you simply don't know, because the information that's being reported could be anything, and they could make you want to believe anything they put out there. So all I'm saying is, if you've got information and if you know what's going on, report on it. Don't report it to the mainstream media. Put it on outlets like YouTube. Let us know what's going on. You know, there are a lot of things that we need to know. Things like the Yellow Vest movement. You know, on the ground, the mainstream media was keeping it hush hush. It's only because people have put it on YouTube that we've been able to see this kind of thing. So all I really hope is that people keep reporting on information, tell us what's going on, so that we can be informed and make our own choices about things. And you know, just stay vigilant. And for now, there isn't really any more information that's going on. It seems to be developing by the hour today on a Sunday, which you'd normally think was a quiet day. But you never know. By the end of the day, we could have more information, whether it's actually a terror attack, whether it was just some idiots flying drones, or whether it was something more. All I can say to you guys is thanks for watching. If you do like my videos, give it a like, smash that like button, subscribe. You know, I'm a very new channel, I haven't got a lot going on, but if you kind of give me the content, I will add to it. I'll make more videos, and you know, hopefully we'll get some ad revenue coming in. I can get better equipment, make better videos, put more time into it, and start giving a more independent view of what's going on, rather than mainstream TV, media, newspapers, magazines, those sorts of things, because I'd like to be able to give you that kind of information from this side of the pond, as well as reporting on stuff from America as well. So for now, that's all, guys. Thanks for watching, and remember, smash that like button, subscribe, hit me up with any comments if there are. I'll try and reply to them. Thanks.